Hiya!
Hello.
Welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Dammy, also known as Dammy's Doodles.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is not Wednesday. Today's Thursday, the 3rd of January, 2019. And this is episode 326. Happy New Year. We'd like to say a big welcome back. We love you guys.
Well,
there we go. To all our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. Bear with us as we get used to, again, recording this way. There's, I don't know if it's our internet or what, but we're experiencing just a tiny bit of a delay between talking. So we're doing the best we can. So, and Dammy's using new earphones, and I have a set that'll be here for next week as well, so hopefully we won't deal with the thing of the microphone scraping against our sweaters that we had, or our shirts or whatever that we had been dealing with. So, Dammy, nobody introduced themselves in the Ravelry group this week. So if somebody, why should they do that, and how should they do that? I don't know what I usually say.
You should join our Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry and introduce yourself in the introduction thread, because you'll get a shout out on our next episode and be able to participate in all our owls and giveaways.
That's right. Well, we have quite a few things to talk about today, including some prize winners and such like that. So we probably should get started. Here we go.
So now we're going to talk about what's on our needles.
So what's on our needles, Dana?
So I'm almost finished with this first glove of the Straightforward Mitts pattern, which is by Monet Drager. It's on US 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Penguin Sequencer Soft in the Baker colorway. And I'm almost done with it, and then I'll do the other one. Then get back to Hadestown stuff.
Okay. You had mentioned last week that you were going to try to think about a way to keep yourself accountable for knitting more. Have you thought any more about that?
No.
Well, it might be a good thing since you're starting classes today to maybe think on that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else you want to talk about?
So what's on your needles?
Yeah. Okay. So first up is my zigzag blanket. This is the 10 stitch zigzag by Frankie Brown. It's on US 4's 3.5 mil needles. I finished on New Year's Eve the 59th stripe, which was the 20th stripe for 2018. And it was out of Berry Colorful Yarning Saturated Sparkle Sock in the 12 Days of Christmas colorway. And I've started the 60th stripe, which is the yarn I used for Dammy's Christmas socks last year, the Canon Hand Dyes Oscar Sparkle Sock in the Frosty the Snowman Polar Opposites colorway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the one that's mainly blue for the first 10 zigzags, and then use the one that's mainly white for the other 10 zigzags. Okay, but we need to have a discussion here around my blanket, because when I finished the 59th stripe, Dammy and I spread it out on my bed. And it's not quite long enough because we want to be able to tuck it in, because we've got a footboard, and we like to tuck our comforter or blanket or blankets and everything, whatever, in. And then when I have it pulled up on me, I want to be able to, like, you know what I mean? I don't like a thing over my head, but I like to be able to cozy up with it. And it's not long enough for that. However, I don't think it's going to take the full 80 stripes that I had thought it was going to take. And I think the reason, because we were talking about this at knitting group last night, I think, excuse me, sorry, let me grab a drink water. I think the reason I thought it was going to take 80 stripes is because I measured after I had done a few stripes, but as the blanket went along, some of the yarns I used were like a lighter fingering weight, and some were a heavier or a like decay weight. And so the widths of some of the stripes are either narrower or wider, not by much, but just by a little bit. But if you have several of those that are that way, it's going to affect your length. So I think but I can get by with 70 stripes. So I wanted to talk about this here because I want y'all's opinions on it. So for the picture that I posted for, it had the 59 stripes. So if I do to 70, I need 11 more stripes. What do y'all think? Do you think that will be enough for our queen size bed? We don't, in the picture, we just kind of laid it up over the top of our pillows, but we don't typically we don't like set up our pillows and like, tuck it or whatever. It just, the pillows were there. So we just kind of threw it up on there when we laid it out on the bed. So what are y'all's thoughts on this? If it's going to be the case that I only do the 70 stripes, that means including the one that I've started on, the 60th stripe, I need 11 stripes more. And I did the maths, if I do 1.5 zigzags a day, that will put me finishing in late May, which is when Stash Dash typically starts. So, but if I get to, because they typically announce like when Stash Dash is going to start, like in early May, late April, maybe. So if I know that and I'm getting to a point where I would finish before, I can just put it into hiatus, and then once Stash Dash starts, do the last like zigzag or two or whatever, and finish it early in Stash Dash. So that is what I'm thinking at this moment, that I'm going to do, but I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on it as well. Yeah, so there's that project that I talked about forever. So, and then I am working on Dammy's Cathedral Wrap, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli, and this is for Dammy's, it was for Dammy's 19th birthday that was in October. I'm using US 6's 4mm needles, and I'm using Knit Pick Stroll hand painted in the Borealis colorway. Hold on just a second. The yarn is like twisted around it. Take this off. So last week when we recorded, I was where that silver stitch marker is. So I've done that much. I thought it was a drop stitch, but it looks like it's just like a little bit wobbly. Some walking should fix it. I just was making sure. And so I am currently sitting at 134 rows of the ribbing. When I get to 141, I'll be at 95% done. So I need to do like, I think it's like 34 more rows total. So I'm getting really close to being done, and then I have to graft it with the other piece and then block it. So I might have it finished to bring to you next week. We'll see. But then I won't have it to show on the podcast if I do that. So I might, well, I don't know. We'll see, because we can take pictures of it and everything. But so I'm really, really close to finishing that. And I'm excited to finish that because that way I can work on something else. I have a list of stuff that needs to be done. And then the other knitting thing I'm working on is the Dr. Hub's Christmas socks. Yes, I know Christmas has already passed. I know. I'm using my French Vanilla Cappuccino sock pattern, which you can get on Ravelry. It's on US 1.5, 2.5mm needles, and the yarn is Pandia's Jewels hand-dyed yarn tweed in an unknown colorway. I finished the first sock. Yay, first sock done. And I'm working on the toe of the second sock. So, yeah, so I'm working on those. And then the non-knitting thing that I'm working on that is still a craft is my English paper piecing. So the inner flower is done. There will be 2 more of these cat fabrics, hexagons here, and then down here at the bottom will be another one of these lavender ones, and then cats around this side. And it's the inverse of the first one that I did. So the first one I did has the cats on the inside and this brownish tan on the outside. So I'm just doing one a day and connecting it. And when once I get like maybe 3 or 4 done, I'll be able to kind of lay it out and see exactly how I want it to connect to each other. so that then I can do the math and figure out how many I need, how many flowers I need before to make it the size I'm wanting to make it. So, and that's everything that I'm currently working on. So, yeah. Yeah, so let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about her finished project.
Yes, I have one final finished project. This is my 50-second preemie hat for 2018, which is from my free top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get on Ravelry. It's on US 6's 4mm needles, and I used Space Cadet Ombre and Gradient Mini Skeins in the Ombre MS 1403 colorway, which is still just as descriptive as the first time I talked about it. So what I did on this one is I did from lightest to darkest, and what I did is I held color 1 and 2 together, and then 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5, and then 5 and 1. And I used all the colors in the pom-pom. But I especially love 5 and 1 together. I think it's really pretty. So I just have, like, maybe combined all 5 colors. I have maybe like 1 gram of yarn left. So I'll finish up using it, and that'll be another one that I can move from my regular stash page to the all used up, which I love. I love doing that. I don't know why. It's just this thing of like, oh, I got to move it over. Oh, that's amazing. So, yeah. So that is everything I finished, and I will be doing preemie hats again this year. So next week I'll have the first one for the year done.
Cool.
And that's everything for this segment. So let's move on to the next one. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are yummies, Sammy?
Yummies are our current favorite things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. So I got a couple of things for Christmas that I wanted to show y'all because they're just so freaking awesome. So first up is my new kitty purse. And yes, they are furry soft. They're so soft. And it's fun. And the color, the fabric color is called coffee because they didn't have pink. So I felt like coffee was a good alternative. And then I got these leggings that are called yoga leggings. So they're wide at the bottom, like yoga pants are, which I'm in love with. And I think I need more.
Get me some.
Oh.
Put in pockets.
They don't have pockets. So here's the top. How cute is that? And then the legs have let's see, they're upside down.
Upside down kitties.
Have kitties, all different kinds of kitties on them. Full disclosure, I just pulled these out of the dirty laundry so that I could show y'all.
Mother.
I've got to do laundry when we get done recording. So the other thing, do you have anything for yummies?
I mean, I can.
You don't have to. I just was asking if you did.
I mean, I got a couple things in the mail.
Do you want to show them?
Sure.
Okay. You didn't have to take your headphone out. It's wireless. She did not have to take that out. Why did she take it out?
Did you keep them entertained?
I always said, Dammy, you don't have to take your headphone out. It's wireless. You could have walked over with it.
But I didn't want it to disconnect from the computer.
Okay. All right. So what are you going to show us? Oh!
So this is the Ariel I won playing the crane game.
That's adorable.
Yeah. And I won another one too, but it's exactly the same, so I'm just going to sell it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And she's got her dingle hopper.
Oh.
It's kind of wonky because it's detached, and I can't figure out how to get it to stay on there probably.
Oh. You'll just have to play with it, I guess. Yeah. Who's that?
Coraline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this one came with a cat too. So, yep.
Oh,
That's mine.
Okay.
Merry Christmas to me. I also got Microsoft Office and new shoes.
You do what you have to do. My stitch marker just flew off, and I don't know where it went. That's extremely weird. I don't know. I will look, I guess, after Yummies. Maybe it fell on the floor. I don't know. Okay. I wanted to mention something that I had seen posted. I'd seen some people talking about it on Instagram and maybe Facebook. And then last night at midnight, our friend Mary recommended watching it. So it's the podcast, The Fat Squirrel Speaks, by Amy Beth. And she is so funny. She's hysterical. But she did a bonus episode called A Path Towards Knitworthy. And I watched it this morning. And I don't even know if I have the words to talk about it. It was so amazing. She is a plus size girl, and she is okay with that. And she was talking about how she got to a place of being okay with the weight she is and being willing to knit or sew clothing for her size versus being like, oh, when I lose 20 pounds, then I'll knit that sweater. Or when I lose 50 pounds, then I'll buy that dress or I'll make that dress. And it was amazing. It was so good. I saved it because I want to watch it again because it was that good. So I put a link in the show notes for you if you want to watch it on YouTube. But yeah, I would highly recommend you giving it a watch and listen because it was really, really, really good. So, okay, I think that's everything for Yummies other than our normal stuff. So let's talk about hashtag GGK Crafty Pad. What is it, Dammy?
It stands for Geeky Girls Knit Crafty Photo a Day Challenge. We have a list of photo prompts for each month, so you take a look at the prompt for that day, take a picture related to it, and post it anywhere you like. And I should take some pictures tonight of our set.
Yes. And we pick our favorite from Instagram. So the prompt list for January obviously is already out. On Thursday when we're recording it, the prompt for today is 1 year ago. And so like the prompts for this month have to do with like the new year and then of course always knitting and colors and everything. But you know what we're coming up on, Dammy?
What?
Our favorite month of GGK Crafty Pad. Alphabet Soup Month.
February.
We love that February. It's so fun. So, what are we about to show them?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
Here come the photos. Great job, everybody.
Whee.
Yay. So it's never too late to join in. You just take a look at the prompt for the day. As I was saying, today's prompt when we're recording is 1 year ago. You interpret that however you want to. And then you post it on Instagram. Make sure in the caption you use hashtag GGK Crafty Pad because that's how we find your photos. If you're participating in GGK Crafty Pad and you have a private account on Instagram, you need to make sure that Dammy's Doodles is following you because otherwise we can't see your photos. So send her a message so she can make sure and be following you so we can see your photos. All right, upcoming events, Dammy.
eye on the upcoming event. So I've got rehearsal tonight, which means that Before the Eclipse by Anton Chekhov here at SPU Theater is coming up soon. It's January 31st is opening night, February 1st and 2nd, and then 7th and 9th. All the shows are at 7:30, except for on the 2nd, there's a matinee at 1 p.m. And something is wrong with the box office site because it lists our matinee as February 9th. So I'm going to talk to the box office about that. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so opening night is 4 weeks from today.
Woo!
So the Dr. Hubs and I are going on opening night. So if you're local and you want to go on opening night, let me know, because if we get a group of 10 of us to go, we get a group rate. So I need to know by the 13th if you're interested in doing that, so that we can make sure.
Good old Russian humor.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to be attending the Madrona Fiber Arts Marketplace in Tacoma, Washington, sometime between February 14th and 17th. I don't know which day yet. I need to get in touch with Janine now that Christmas is over. Janine, if you're watching this, if I haven't gotten in touch with you, get in touch with me so we can figure out when we're going to go. So, and that's all the events. So I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
Now we're going to talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
That's right. So why don't you get us started with your reading?
So I'm still reading Coraline by Neil Gaiman.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through it and stuff. I didn't get as much through it as I wanted because of moving back to school.
Yeah.
Packing to school. But just today I've started reading Respect for Acting by Uta Hagen.
Oh, and how respectful are you being towards acting?
Very.
Okay. How do you be
on a scale of 1 to 10, a 9?
How do you be respectful to acting?
You listen to what Uta Hagen has to say.
Okay. Well, I guess you can tell us more in the coming weeks.
Yeah. And tomorrow I'm going to be starting reading Il Trovatore by Verdi. And I'm going to see it sometime this quarter for my writing class.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm also reading The Glass Scientists, which is a webcomic by Sabrina Katungo.
Fantastic. So, Dammy, I assume you're getting your 15 minutes a day in.
Why, yes.
Okay. What am I referring to?
The RAL read-along. The October, November, December RAL is over, but now we have the January, February, March RAL.
That's right. So we'll talk about January, February, March in a minute, because we need to tell you about finishers and winners from the October, November, December RAL. So, Dammy, for people that read 88 to 92 of the days, they all got entered into giveaways, 6 giveaways for ebooks. So we'll announce those in a minute. They all got 20% off a single pattern coupon code, and they got their virtual badge. So do you want to tell us everyone who finished, who did 88 to 92 of the days?
Do I have a choice?
No, do it.
AA Lauzon, Artsy Reedy, Crafty Mom 2010, I Know Hour, Jennifer Reels, Jodadiah, JP Music 15, Knit and Kitten 2, Crafty Katie 15, Merlin Magic 21, Moe's Crochet, Party Girl, Psycho Hulakian, Strauss, Share 2014, Silver Luna 2112, Tamil, and Zinnitz 130.
Great job, everybody. I'm clapping. Are you clapping?
Yes, but I can't see who the winner is.
Oh, no. Hold on. Can you see them now?
Why, yes, I can. All I could see was a C.
Well, I'll tell you what happened is I opened up iMovie and started doing what I could put in, and I must have, when I copied it, the winners to put on in the podcast, I must have accidentally hit the letter C afterwards, and so it deleted them all. So we did 6 giveaways for each for any one of our ebooks. And we used random number generator to draw. What I did is I made an alphabetical list of everybody who finished. So the list that Dabby just read to you. And we did 1 to 18, and I asked Siri for random numbers. And so that's how we chose the winners. If you are one of the winners, you have 30 days to claim your prize or you forfeit it. And what I need you to do is PM me, Java Pearl on Ravelry, and tell me which of our ebooks you would like to have. Okay? So, Dammy, why don't you tell us who the 6 winners are?
I would love to. The 6 winners are I Now Hour, Jennifer Reels, JP Music 15, Party Girl, Mr. House, and Share 2014.
Yes. So I Know Hour, Jennifer Reels, JP Music 15, Party Girl, Mr. House, and Share 2014. Please PM me and let me know what ebook you would like. And great job for reading that much. Way to go. And then our second category is if you read between 61 and 87 of the days. And they all got entered into a giveaway for a single pattern, and they got a virtual badge. So we had 3 people who finished in that category. Dammy, who were they?
The 3 people were Knitter Chow, SS Tingel, and Wendelica.
So congratulations to y'all. And so if you are this prize winner we're about to announce, you have 30 days to claim your prize, and I need you to PM me, Java Pearl, and Ravelry, and tell me which of our single patterns you would like to have. So Dammy, who is the winner?
Knitter Chow.
So congrats, Knitter Chow. So again, congrats to all the winners. Way to go. We're very proud of you. We hope you're participating again in January, February, and March. So the challenge for this is to read 15 minutes a day. I don't care what you read. Audiobooks count. Hold on. The Dr. Hubs is texting me and needs an answer right this second. Okay. He was running an errand for me and needed to know an answer. I don't care what you read. You can read the back of the cereal box if you want to. I don't care. As long as you are reading 15 minutes a day. There's a finish line thread in the Ravelry group. You post once and you edit it. And at minimum, you need to tell us you read 15 minutes a day. You can be more specific, though, with exact minutes, what you're reading, etc. Minimum is tell us you did it. And again, we'll have the 2 categories. This time, because of the number of days in the 3 months, it'll be 86 to 90 and 59 to 85. And the hashtag is GGKRAL19. And then, as we've announced, we're also doing a year-long challenge to go along with these quarterly challenges. You can go to our Ravelry group or our show notes to see all the info about that. But what it is essentially is you will earn entries every quarter for reading, for how many days you read. If you read at least 59, 60, 61 days, depending on how many days there are in the quarter, you'll get entries into giveaways. If you read all 365 days of the year, you'll get bonus entries. And if you do the Modern Miss Darcy 2019 Reading Challenge, you'll get bonus entries. And I said this on the board the other day on our Ravelry group. You don't have to join the Reading Challenge on the Modern Mrs. Darcy website. Just you need to do the 12 different categories, and we'll open a thread for that in December. And then we'll have 3 prize winners. What we'll do is we'll take all the entries, do random number, 3 prize winners. Each of them will receive yarn, a pattern, and maybe more. So if you have any questions about that, there's a great chatter thread in the Ravelry group already where you can talk about that. And yeah. So what I'm reading. One of my goals this year is to read at least 12 nonfiction books. So that's 1 nonfiction book a month. So I have started that. I started it on New Year's Day. My first book is Almost Everything, Notes on Hope by Anne Lamott. And I've read 2 chapters because today is the 3rd and I haven't read the chapter yet today. So I'm enjoying that. They're just short little essays. Yeah, so I'm enjoying that. I am reading Harry Potter. I'm rereading because I've read it before. multiple times. I'm rereading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the third book in the series by J.K. Rowling. And I'm reading along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast and Switch and Flake and All Potter podcast. And then I read books 1 to 5 of the Fox and O'Hare series by Janet Ivanovich and Lee Goldberg. So this is about an FBI agent and a master criminal who, to avoid going to jail, works undercover with the FBI to, it's essentially, what was that show? White Collar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a female agent with a male criminal. I read books 7 to 8 of the Cat in the Stack series by Miranda James, and the Dr. Hubbs is picking up book 9 for me, actually, right now. That's what he was texting me about. And for the Fox and O'Hare series, there's another book, but I had to get on the wait list for that. And then I started last night the Night with a K, K-N-I-G-H-T, and Moon series by Janet Ivanovich and F. Sutton. There's only 2 books in this series so far, and the guy is an eccentric, well-off because of family money guy who discovers that somebody is taking the gold from the Federal Reserve and replacing it with, I think it's tanzanite with a gold casing on it, because I think it's tanzanite is the same weight composition-ish of gold. And they find this, and he is working with a lady who works for his, like, bank, financial services, whatever, and so they're trying to figure it out. So that's what I just started reading last night. Okay, watching movies. I watched the last 2 Christmas Hallmark movies and the New Year's Hallmark movie, and now we will only have like 1 to 2 movies a weekend versus 57 billion movies. So I think next up we're into Winter Fun or something like that is the next theme. So, and then while you were home, we watched A Wrinkle in Time, the newer one. What are your thoughts on it?
It was okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't the best, and there was a lot of stuff that which always happens when you take a book and turn it into a movie. There's stuff that gets left out and everything. Probably one of my favorite moments is, I can't remember which of the ladies it is, but when she says the quote from Hamilton. What was the quote? Tomorrow there'll be more of us. Hamilton, American. So I thought that was cool that they pulled that in. And then, because I had finished rereading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, we watched the movie again. And then I listened to Swish and Flick had an episode that was looking at the similarities and differences between the book and the movie. And so that was kind of cool. I deserve applause because I finished rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All 7 seasons. Wow. Cried, sobbed the last episode. Sunnydale is gone, including the sign. Anya died. So much. But I finished that. So I'm now watching more of 12 Monkeys, which is also it's a dystopian, like, after a illness like killed like 6 billion of the world's population thing, and there's time travel and all that. I finished season 1 and I'm watching season 2. In fact, I only have 1 episode of season 2 left. And I was watching an episode yesterday, and then the Dr. Hubbs got home to pick me up to take me to knitting group, and I forgot when we got home that I had like 5 minutes of it left, and so I turned on the computer. It had fallen asleep, and I turned it on to like start getting stuff ready to edit the podcast, and I was like, oh, I have like 5 minutes left, and it was like total intense, all this, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, what? Because they were, trying to get it for the for the season finale, so I'll watch that one tonight probably. And then I watched When Calls the Heart, The Greatest Christmas Blessing. So that was a Christmas special, and baby Jack was born. I guess she named him after her husband that died. And then we watched the Called the Midwife Christmas special. And it was really, really good. And then we watched the Doctor Who's New Year's special. Here are my thoughts of once I watched it again. I did not like that there was not the intro, the theme song, and everything. I would totally love to see Mitch and Kim as regular companions.
Who's Kim?
No, Jen. No, what's her name?
Lynn.
Lynn. It auto-corrected. Mitch and Lynn as regular companions. They were so much fun. I really felt like the whole storyline with Ryan's dad was just way too forced. And seriously, UNIT is closed down because of financial issues.
It was a dig at Brexit.
Still. So I didn't feel like this was one of the best episodes of series 11. It was okay. And now we have to wait an entire year for more Doctor Who because it won't be back till 2020. And then I watched Outlander season 4, The Birds and the Bees, and there were little birds and bees in this episode. So Roger tried to come back to Brianna after they had that horrible fight after they did their handfast ceremony. And the really bad guy that he was working for on the ship, he was working on a ship, forced him to leave with him, and he didn't get to talk to Brianna. And then Brianna and Jamie meet, sobbing, crying. I am just like a mess. And then Brianna and Claire reunite, and I'm sobbing and crying and a mess. And then we find out Brianna is pregnant. Don't know which of the two guys the father is. And then that's her maid's Lizzie, her maid, sees Roger and thinks that Roger is the one that hurt Brianna, but he wasn't. And young Ian comes and tells Jamie, and Jamie beats the crap out of Roger, and then Ian takes him away. And from knowing from the books, I know what's going to happen. And then next week is going to be intense because they're going to have to rescue Roger from where Ian took him, because Brianna is going to be a whole freaking mess. It was an intense, sobbing, crying episode. Both times I watched it.
Okay.
And that's everything we watched. And then I'm listening, of course, to my favorite murder podcast. I need to put this in here too. Would you put a note in for me? The Enneagram and Coffee podcast, which is a brand new podcast that came out of what was meant to be just kind of a funny thing between her like family and friends, and it turned into it's the Enneagram and Coffee Instagram account, and like in like 2 days, like tens of thousands of people have followed. And she's doing a Patreon to help be able to do more content. And she just started a podcast, so the intro episode is out, and she's working on the second episode. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that. And then I know you've been listening to
Film pressure.
Yay! And then anything else?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's everything for this segment then. We had a lot to talk about. Congrats again to the winners. Don't forget to PM me. All right, well, I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
Now we're going to talk about the December, January, February.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Ow.
Yes.
Do-do-do-do-do.
All right, Debbie, so tell us about it.
Oh, I forgot I talked about this. Okay.
And it's the first podcast of the month.
No! Okay. So this started on the 1st of December and it runs to the 28th of February. It's for any project that you can knit, crochet, weave, or spin, Ravelry crafts, that you can convince us is related to winter. Your fallback is you made it in the winter. There are, I guess, technically 3 main rules, but one of them is no whips are allowed. Your project has to have been begun no earlier than the 1st of December and then finished by the 28th of February. The second one is each project of at least 20 yards that you finished in post the FO thread is 1 entry. If your project is not at least 20 yards, you need to group it in a single post with other projects that together total at least 20 yards. Yes. And the other one was like, kind of, you must be a member of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry to participate. And feel free to polydip in RLs as long as it fits in with the rules. Okay, prizes.
All right. Well, if somebody wants to donate one, you can PM me, Java Pearl on Ravelry, or email us at
geekygirlsknit@gmail.com.
That's right. So let's go through the prizes for this month, or for this along. First up, we have a Christmas tree project bag by Donna's Designs Shop, donated by Rhonda, who is dueling needles.
A Christmas stitch marker set made and donated by Teresa, Jazzy Creations.
Also by Teresa, a Seattle Seahawks stitch marker set.
From Julia, who is numbers 2 Illuminati enamel pens, who also made them. 2 winners will each 1 pen.
Yes, that is Julia from Pandia's Jewels. And then we have a set. We have a project bag from Neighborhood Fiber Co., a red cable notebook donated by Marianne, who is Knit Central, a Lose Me Not Mini stitch marker size by Jan B. Smiley, a Ginger Twist Studio needle gauge, a Nessie stitch marker, and 15 grams of Hilltop Cloud silk hankies. You get just like a whole prize bundle.
And then we got a skein of Fairy Tale Knits Ella Music in the green tonal color donated by Eileen, who is leaner.
And she also donated these these last 2 prizes. A skein of Space Cadet Lucina in the No Snow colorway, which is a White Christmas reference.
And then a skein of Zwerger Opal a Diamond in the 6524 colorway.
So descriptive. Thank you to all of our donors. We really appreciate you supporting the podcast in this way. And if you want to see closer up pictures or more details about who made the stuff, who donated it, etc., go to our website.
geekygirlsknit.com.
That's right. Okay, keep going, Yami.
So, like I said, you have to be a member of our podcast group on Ravelry to participate. There's a hashtag GGKWinter1819 if you'd like to post on social media or tag your projects on Ravelry. The FO thread is going to be locked on the morning of the 1st of March, and winners will be drawn on the next podcast following that. And then any winners will have 30 days from the day the podcast goes live to claim their prize, or they forfeit it. Also, there's a chatter thread on Ravelry where I give shout-outs to people who finish projects, and also do that here.
There are a lot of FOs this week because it was the end of the month.
End of the year.
Well, but end of the month, always at the end of the month, of every month, there's a whole rush of people who finished stuff and posted it.
Okay, here are the people who finished. Crafty Textile Lady, Craft Worker, D-Door4, DG White, I Know Hour, Philippa MC, Jodadiah, JP Music 15, Kersey S, Knit Live Love, Knit Princess 83, Will Angel SG2, Will Mermaid, Romania 64, Mary Beth 1199, Rose Crochet, Phoenix Fire, Ramona Firehorse, Scrap Fair, Share 2014, She's Knitting Socks, Silver Luna 2112, Skaggy Knits, Wolfjoy, Down Taxi Driver, and Yell Cat 2.
Great job, everybody. So keep working on those projects. You have a little under 2 months to get them finished, and you might be a prize winner. All right, yay. I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
And now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls, the part of our show where you ask us things and we try to answer them.
That's right. So what is this week's question, Nellie?
This week's question is from Kari, or Carrie.
Carrie.
Who's Earl Grey Knitter 2 from Kansas. Dear Cece, can you please show us how you knit? Thank you.
So before Dammy left for school, she recorded me the two different ways that I knit, because I knit differently when on the Zoom needles versus all the other kinds of needles. So we're going to stop right here, put that video in, and then we'll be back.
Okay, so there are two different ways that I knit. The first is, I think what it's called English style. It's when you throw the yarn, and the only time I do that is either when I am weaving in yarn as I'm knitting, like if I've started a new color, or new, well, not usually with a new skein yarn, but like in my preemie hats, when I change color, I just weave in the ends as I go, and that way I don't have to sew them all in later. And when I'm knitting on the 9-inch circulars, what I call Zoom needles, because I can knit continental style with these, but it really hurts my wrists. So I throw. So Dammy's going to come over and just show you how I'm knitting here. I'm on the cuff, otherwise I'd be going a lot faster. So I am just throwing the yarn, and I'm doing a twisted rib on the top of this sock, 1 by 1 ribbing. And I'm throwing the yarn. So that is how I knit when I'm knitting on these. Now the other way that I knit is called continental style. And throwing is how I learned. That when I learned from the kit that I bought from the big box store, I tried to knit continental using their information, and it was just so confusing. I could not get it. And the reason why I was having so much trouble, I was doing fine with the knit stitch, but purling, I just could not get it to work until someone, while we were in Scotland, suggested the Norwegian purl method, which was a game changer, and I can knit continental now. So continental, I'm holding the yarn in my, I should get my, let me get the stitches up on the needles here. So this is the wrap that I'm knitting for Dammy for her birthday. That was 2.5 months ago. So I'm tensioning the yarn again. When I knit English, I tension the same way around my pinky and then over this. So let's see, we're going to slip the first stitch. This one is kind of hard as it starts because I'm going to show you a regular Norwegian purl, but at the beginning of this wrap pattern, you were doing knitting and purling through the back loop. So for knitting, I am knitting through the back loop on this, but I just scoop the yarn up. Now purling, I stick my right needle behind my yarn, put it through from right to left, and then I twist it over, grab the yarn, and push it back through. Let's do that again. Okay, so behind the yarn, through the stitch, around, pull it through, push it out. So if you have tried to knit continental style and have been stymied by the purl, there's some really good tutorials on YouTube about how to do it. But again, I'll do it slow again. Right needle goes behind the yarn, through the stitch from right to left, and then I twist that needle over to where it's across the yarn. Scoop it up and push it through. Behind, through, over, scoop, push. Behind, through, over, scoop, push. And then for knitting, I'm just scooping the yarn through. And that is how I knit continental. So, hello. Those are my two styles of knitting that I utilize. I can knit a whole lot faster knitting continental. And I actually, like I said, I learned, I was taught how to knit continental on the Zoom needles, but it just, because there's not a lot of working space, it made my wrists spin really funny, and so it was painful. So on the Zoom needles, I can just knit round and round in circles, throwing. I can take it to the cinema, to church, to wherever, and knit with no problem at all, even in the dark. But I have not tried that with continental style knitting on anything. So I normally take a sock to the cinema. So that is how I knit.
So tell us in the Ravelry group how you knit. If you do a video of it or whatever, feel free to post it in a post in the thread, because we would love to see how you knit. And thank you, Carrie, for the question. Dammy, we need more questions. So if somebody has a question for us, what should they do?
Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread in our Ravelry group and post it.
That is correct. All right, let's move on to the next segment. We made it to the end of the show! Yay!
Hi, baby.
Oh, you can hear me. I took my headphones out. Hi, Dammy.
Hi, baby.
Oh, Dammy, I miss you.
I miss you.
Hey, Dammy, there's a puppy upstairs, and he bark, bark, bark. Uh-huh. She don't like it. She said, be quiet, puppy. Yeah. Well, Pinky, you know what? We made it to the end of the show. Yay. And we need to remind people about the great podcaster craft together that started a couple of days ago. There's a link in the Ravelry group. No. Yes, there is one there. There's a link also in the show notes. You should go join the group and participate, because you can probably dip between there and here in our podcast. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. And do we have any other announcements, Tammy?
Nope.
Okay. So we say a huge thank you to everyone who supports the podcast, especially those of you who support us financially, because it does cost money, doesn't it, Pinky? Yes, it does. It costs money to do the podcast. So there's three main ways you can support us financially. First is Patreon, which is a site where you pledge a certain amount each month to your favorite creatives, and you earn rewards based on the level. Dammy, if somebody wants to do that or wants to find out more, what should they do?
Go to patreon.com/geekygirlsknit.
What's another way?
There's a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you would like to make a one-time donation.
And we are amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you're shopping there, click through our website first, and we will get a little money back based on what you purchase. It won't cost you anything extra. It's a great way to support the podcast by doing what you'd be doing anyway. Right, Pinky? Thank you to everyone who went through our website to shop for Christmas and holiday gifts. We appreciate it a lot. All right, Dammy, why don't you tell everyone where they can find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.com. There are the links to everywhere else we are online. YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
And with that, we're going to tell you goodbye. Pinky, can you tell them to stay tuned until after the credits for a video of you? A video of you?
I love you, Pinky.
I miss you, Dammy. And we will tell Pinky, we're going to tell the people bye. We're going to tell them happy knitting, happy new year, and give them a peace sign. You make a peace sign? No. I say bye-bye. Okay, we'll see you next week. Yeah. All right, say bye-bye. Pinky, what are you doing? Why do you have your feet sticking up in the air? What's going on? What's going on? Why you have your feet sticking up?
You want to escape?
Are you trying to escape? Or you want Betty Wubs? Oh, Betty Wubs.
Little belly wobs.
I can't see her face though because your arm in the way. Hi, beautiful. Hi. Hi. Are you cuddling with Dammy? Yeah. Sweet girl.